Okay, let's jump right in. We usually think of holy books as, history lessons, stories about ancient prophets and faraway places. But what if that's not the whole story? What if we're missing the point? Today, we're going to explore a really different way of looking at the Qur'an, not as a book about the past, but as a living, breathing map of reality itself.
Now check this out. The source material we're digging into kicks things off with this powerful idea. It's meant to completely flip your perspective. The idea is that these stories, they're not just about people who lived thousands of years ago. They're about eternal patterns, states of mind that exist inside you, right now, just waiting to be remembered.
So, this is the big question that's going to guide us. We're going to treat the Qur'an like a cosmic GPS, a map that doesn't show you roads and cities, but instead reveals the pathways of faith, the pitfalls of ignorance, the true shape of time, and most importantly, your place in this incredible design.
All right, so to start reading this map, we have to understand how guidance actually works. And the source material kicks off with a pretty radical idea. Your spiritual lineage has absolutely nothing to do with your bloodline or your family tree. It's all about where you choose to align your belief. This framework is super cool. It organizes all divine guidance into 3 main streams, and each one is symbolized by an element: light, water, and fire. And these aren't just pretty metaphors. They represent totally distinct ways that consciousness and divine help operate in the world and inside of us.
Okay, this is where you can really see the map laid out. You've got the vertical line of light, which the Qur'an describes as pure knowledge. This is carried by figures like Isa, who is literally the Word. Then you have the horizontal line of water, which is all about mercy. Think of Noah and the ark, providing relief from the flood. And finally, the diagonal line of fire. This is about divine command, revelation, like when Musa received the law from the burning bush. And here's the most important part. What connects them all isn't family, it's faith.
And this right here is the perfect example of that core idea. Just think about Miriam. The Qur'an tells us she conceived Isa through her faith alone. According to this map, that's not just a one-off miracle. It's actually revealing a fundamental law of the universe. Pure faith is the very thing that allows divine knowledge, the Word, to be born into our world. And Isa is the personification of that.
So if guidance is flowing through these beautiful lines of light, water, and fire, you've got to ask, what's pushing back against it? Well, this map shows a central, timeless battle. It's the struggle between the eternal word, which is pure knowledge, and its total opposite, a state of being the source calls the Jinn state.
Now, let's be super clear here. In this way of thinking, Jinn is not some kind of creature from a fairy tale. Nope, it's an internal state of ignorance. It's that voice in your head that's always comparing, always reacting, born from that moment of pride when Iblis said, "I am better than him." It's like the static on a radio that's trying to block a crystal clear signal.
This really puts it all into perspective, doesn't it? On one side, you have the Word, pure light, truth, knowledge. It connects and unifies everything. And on the other side, you have the Jinn state, which is all about pride, comparison, and separation. It's that force inside us that causes us to forget where we came from and get lost in the noise of our own ego.
Okay, so how do you actually fight back against all this internal static? The map gives us the tools, and they're straight out of the Qur'an. That verse, "Work when you have respite," is seen here not as a call to take a vacation, but to actively push back against that state of ignorance. Constant remembrance, like it says in 2:152, is what tunes you back into the divine signal. And when you feel totally lost, you surrender. Just like Yunus did in the belly of the fish. You let go of the ego and return to the truth.
So once we get a handle on this inner conflict between the word and ignorance, the map kind of zooms out to show us the very fabric of reality where this whole battle plays out. And this is where it gets really, really interesting. It suggests that time itself isn't a straight line at all. It's more like a Mobius loop. Seriously, just forget that simple timeline you learned in school. Past, present, future. This model says that our linear view of time is basically an illusion. The real structure is cyclical, it's layered, and everything is deeply, deeply connected. So instead of thinking of historical events as things that happen once and are now gone, picture them as nodes on a huge cosmic network. They aren't just memories, they're active hubs in a circuit that are always repeating and that you can actually tap into. The source points to 3 of these major nodes. Ibrahim's trial by fire, that's the eternal test of truth, a timeless moment from that fire-faith line. The ascension of Idris is the return point for the righteous, a vertical link to the divine. And the ascension of Isa, that's the big one. It's the word node,
the ultimate expression of the light of knowledge, and it's like the central hub connecting every timeline back to the power of pure faith.
So here's the key takeaway. Forces like the Word aren't stuck in history. They're timeless signals that travel across all these loops. So in this model, the lightning that hit the mountain for Musa and the word of knowledge that came to Miriam, they aren't totally separate events. They are different expressions of the exact same eternal energy, just popping up at different points on the loop. This is how the Qur'an connects everyone through what you do and what you believe, not who your ancestors were.
Now we get to the most important part of this whole map. Where do you fit into all of this? This whole cosmic structure isn't just something to look at and admire. According to the source, it's a direct invitation for you to start your own journey. The entire message of this map really boils down to this one direct, personal call to action. Ahmed, who the Quran says was prophesied by Isa, isn't just a historical figure in this view. It's a spiritual station, a state of being that every single one of us is invited to achieve. So what does that even mean? To reach the station of Ahmed? It means you finally made that divine trade mentioned in the Qur'an in verse 9:111, where Allah has purchased from the believers their lives in exchange for paradise. It's that state of complete submission, where your own personal will finally, perfectly aligns with the divine will. The path to getting there is basically the grand finale of our map. It means you stop just reading the Qur'an and you start becoming the Qur'an. You embody that eternal knowledge of Isa, the Word. It means you align yourself with timeless truth, not with temporary labels like your family or your tribe. It's the journey of purifying that divine spark inside you, achieving the perfect submission of Musa, and finally becoming who you were always meant to be.
And so, we end up right back where we started, with a question. If this book isn't just a history of the past, but a living, dynamic map of reality itself, a map of your own consciousness and your own potential, then what journey is it inviting you, personally, to begin today?